Hi guys, today we're going to be starting our new Amber Brown story. Amber Brown wants extra credit. So we're going to be starting this today and listening to it in parts. This story about extra credit, if you take a look at the cover, Amber Brown wants extra credit. Now, extra credit, where it says right here, is something that kids who are in school sometimes get if they do extra work. So they get extra points for doing their work because it's extra, not something that everybody is doing. Paula Danzinger's Amber Brown Wants Extra Credit, illustrated by Tony Ross. Chapter 1, Amberino Certificates. I, Amber Brown, being of sound mind and no money, I spent it all on a book, a computer game, and some junk food, do hereby give my mother 5 Amberino certificates for her birthday. Amberino certificates allow the mother, Sarah Thompson, to ask her beloved only child, Amber Brown, to grant her 5 wishes. Just remember, these have to be wishes that I can actually do, and not stuff that's impossible, like moving the Empire State Building or eating spinach or finding a cure for dandruff. Not that you have any of it. Just remember, I'm a 9-year-old kid, so make the wishes doable, but then you always do. Happy birthday and love from Amber Brown. I, Amber Brown, am being held captive by a madwoman. This madwoman is my mother, and she's very mad at me for having a messy room. She's also very mad at me because my teacher, Mrs. Holt, sent home a note saying I'm not working up to the best of my abilities. My mother is very, very mad at me because of the note. Actually, what she said is that she's very angry about the reason for the note, me not doing my schoolwork the way that I should be. Now I'm supposed to be a perfect little student, and she's using one of her Amberino certificates to make me help clean up my room. She says I can't leave my room until it's neat as a pin. How can a room be neat as a pin? Does a pin have a bed in it, a dresser, a curtain, person living in it? The words neat as a pin are the second silliest things I've ever heard today. The first silliest thing is expecting me to have a neat room. I wish I had never given her those Amberino certificates for her birthday. Doesn't she know that if my room is neat, I can't find anything? It makes me nervous if everything is too organized. She never used to mind when my room wasn't neat. She never used the Amberino certificates to make me clean it up. The telephone rings and I rush to get it. My mom gets to it first, picks it up, and listens. And she says, Brandy, I'm sorry. Amber cannot come to the phone. I am at the phone. I don't have to come to the phone. I pull at my mother's sleeve. My mother points her finger back to my room. Back, Amber, I'm serious. You have to clean up your room before you do anything else. But Mom. No, but Mom, she says, clean your room now. She starts talking on the phone. Brandy, she can call you back as soon as her room is clean. And yes, I'll remind her to bring her new game when she goes to your house tonight, if she gets her room organized. Otherwise, I'm not sure that you'll see either. I stomp to my room. This isn't fair. My room is a little bit messy, but I, Amber Brown, don't think she's really angry about the messy room. I think my mom is really angry because I don't want to meet her boyfriend. That's one of the big reasons why she's in a bad mood. Just because she wanted to use one of her certificates to have me finally meet Max and go to dinner with them, and just because I said, no, I'm not ready yet, and you promise I don't have to, you promised a long time ago, the certificate cannot make me go. If I meet Max, I'll have to actually know that he's a real person who's going out with my mom. And if my mom's going out with him, that means there's really less chance that her and my dad are going to get back together again. And what if I meet Max and I actually like him? That wouldn't be fair to my dad who's in Paris, France, which is so far away. So I'm not ready to meet Max, and I may never be ready. I stomp some more, and then I start throwing things into the garbage. My dirty clothes, my clean clothes, the book report I was working on for next week, and then I put the garbage bag in my closet. Next, I put all the other important things from the top shelf of my bookcase, the dad book that I keep so that I can look at pictures of my dad and talk to him sometimes, the ball that Justin and I made from our chewing gum ball, the scrapbook my Aunt Pam and I made of our trip to London. It even has a chickenpox scab to remind me of how I got sick there. I open the top drawer of my dresser and I shove everything into the top. I get into bed, and from under the covers, I start to make my bed, pulling up the sheets, and then the blankets, and then the bedspread. Then I get out and I kind of smooth everything down. It's an Amber Brown way of making my bed. When I throw my stuffed animals on the bed, I guess there's not only a mad woman in this house, but I think there's a mad kid. There's no madman in this house, though, because he, my father, and my mother got so mad they got a divorce, and now he lives in France because of his job. I, Amber Brown, wish things could go back to the way they were before. Before my dad left, before Justin, my best friend, moved away, before my mother changed her last name back to the name she had before she got married, so we don't even have the same last name anymore. Before Max, my mom's boyfriend, met my mom, before it was so important to get me to keep my room clean. I wish. Chapter 3. I'm escaping. I'm out of the house. My room finally passed inspection. I'm really lucky that my mother didn't look in the closet or the dresser drawers, or I would still be in my room instead of getting a ride to Brandy's sleepover. My mom and I are in the car, not saying much of anything. What she does say is she's really not happy with the way I've been acting. Well, I'm not happy with the way she's been acting. I keep staring straight ahead, and then I look over at my mother. There are tears rolling down her face. She hardly ever cries. I've only seen her cry big time 4 times. Once was when she got a call that my grandfather, her father, had died, and once right after my father left. Even though she said she wanted him to leave, she still cried. Once I saw her cry when I was about 5 and I ran into the traffic and I almost got hit by a car, but it stopped in time. She yelled at me, she picked me up, she hugged me and told me never to do it again. And then she told me how much she loved me, and then she cried. And now she's crying again. Mom, what's wrong? I touch her arm. She pulls the car over by the sidewalk and looks at me. Amber, it's so hard. I want to be a good mother. You are. I tell her that to make her stop crying, even though I get mad at her. I do know it's true. She wipes her eyes. But I want to be good to myself. I sit quietly. You're making it very hard for me, she says. I continue to say nothing. It's not all your fault, she says. I've read all the books, and sometimes I'm afraid I'm beginning to sound like one. I understand that sometimes it's hard for the child to accept that their parents are divorced and they start dating other people. I understand it, but I don't like it. I don't like it either, I tell her. This isn't a book, this is my life, and I can't help it if both you and Daddy, if I want you to stay together, and for both of you not to go out with other people. She sighs. Your father is in France doing whatever he wants to without you knowing and without you making it difficult for him. I think about what she has said, and even though I don't want to admit it, I think she's right. I say, if I knew that he had a girlfriend, I'd tell him that I wouldn't want to meet her any more than I want to meet Max. But you don't know, do you? My mother says softly. But you do know what I do, because we live together. And Amber, you know that I want you to live with me. I'm not complaining or upset. I just want you to listen and try to understand and make things a little bit easier for me. There are more tears going down my mom's cheek. I'll listen. I'll try. I hate to see my mom cry. She continues, we live with each other full time. In some divorced families, children spend time with each parent, and that gives parents time to themselves. But we are not at a present a family that can do that. So you know a lot about what I do and who I spend my time with. So I ask, what do you want me to do? My mom takes a deep breath. I want you to understand that I need to get out on with my own life and meet new people and include those people in my life and in our lives. New people. You mean Max? I look at her. She nods, especially Max. You know, Amber, it's not as if I'm asking you to meet an axe murderer. Max Turner is one of the nicest men I've ever met. He's a good man. He's funny and gentle and kind. Are you going to marry him? Are you going to expect me to call him Dad? Now I feel like crying. She shrugs. I don't know if I'm going to marry him, but I do know that I like him. And no, I don't expect you to call him Dad. You have a father. You can call him Max. Max, I say softly. I think about how I once knew a Max, but that was a dog. I wonder if I could say roll over and play dead to Max a person, and if he would do it. I smile, thinking about making Max a person roll over and play dead. But my mother smiles back. See, it's not so bad thinking about meeting him. You just smiled. I was thinking about the Hawkins dog Max, I said in a mean voice, and how they used to let him roll over and play dead. My mother stops smiling and starts to cry again, just a little bit. I really do hate when she cries. Okay, I sigh. Then you'll meet him, promise? My mom sounds happy. I promise to meet him. I don't promise to like him. And I say, okay, Max. In my head, I think, roll over, play dead. It's a beginning, my mom smiles. So, guys, that was part 1 of Amber Brown Wants Extra Credit. And next time, we'll start part 2, chapter 4.